This episode of Sketch Eats is sponsored by Creekstone Farms, a place where values like honesty, integrity, and hard work are alive and well.
Here we
Okay.
go. Waiting for the point.
We got Sketch Eats episode 2, Farm to Table, take 2. Wait for the point. Hold on. Good God, alright.
You need me to do
I'm
it?
so sorry. It was something with the point. I got like the fuzz.
Hey, you need me to do this?
Hi, I'm Becky, the order taker lady here at the Hot Pot, and welcome to Sketch Eats. It's Chef Boss and myself talking about farm to table, local eating. So, why does this topic intrigue you so much? Or piss you off?
Piss me off, yeah. Farm to table. Farm to table means absolutely freaking nothing. Everything comes from a farm. I mean, if we eat it, it comes from a farm. The corn, pigs, whatever, it comes from a farm. And
But it's-
usually you're eating it on a table.
But it's been a terminology that's
Right.
been used a lot in the marketing
Right, because
industry.
it's easy and people are stupid. They're sheeples.
They're what?
They're sheeples.
We need like
Little lemmings. You know, sheeples. There's a term that's a bell cow, and everybody just, oh, let's go there, let's do that. It's organic, it's all natural, it's low fat, it's whatever the current fad word is. Farm to table means essentially nothing because there is no definition. So it's very important to do your homework and, go to a place that you trust. Generally speaking, farm to table, the idea is that you're actually getting something local. Some from the farmer.
Local, like from the vendor that just delivered it from their warehouse that is in St. Louis.
Well, some people call that local. I buy it local. Well, they're a local company getting shit from Hawaii and Mexico and
I think it's important
California
that
and everything else.
Here's the thing. This is what got us into this topic and got our brains kind of mushy with it for a while because we went into a local restaurant that we frequent quite a bit. We don't eat there, we drink there quite a bit.
Yeah.
And
Not that we drink a lot.
because we don't.
Local.
We walked in and we saw all of their marketing local farm to table.
And we're poor and we don't market and
We really
we get
yeah.
irritated when we see all this real high gloss, expensive ass marketing.
Expensive ass.
Well, I like expensive ass, but
Expensive marketing that says local farm to table. The first thing we did when we got in there, we were a little heated, and we asked a waitress, we asked a bartender, and then a cook comes out, and we asked them specifically.
no, the chef.
The chef. What came from the farm today? What was delivered from the farm? They could not answer anything. The closest thing they got to farm to table was the raviolis that they were buying frozen from Soulard. Now, maybe they were being made there. We don't know. But that was their best definition of what farm to table was. There wasn't a vegetable that was delivered that day.
None of their proteins.
That was local.
Nothing.
So that got us going in this conversation. But you see it all over the place. Farm to table,
You see it in
local,
some extremely large national chains that had to close down recently because they got tons of people sick because they're using all this not so local, part of the massive food industry mega chain.
So give us a couple of tips, because here's the thing. If the mass consumer is seeing farm to table and that's what they're believing, what are some pointers or ideas as to what?
First, know where the hell you live. Okay, it was coming up Valentine's Day. Guess what? The strawberries are not going to be local for most of us because it's winter. Have a general idea of where you live and what's grown there. If you're
Price point. Price point's another.
price point. And prettiness. If it's a super glossy, all of them look identical the same. Guess what? That doesn't come from a local person. Yeah, they have a lot of land, but most of them aren't huge operations. They're not throwing away all the unpretty food.
I think it's also kind of interesting all of the chicken places all the chicken restaurants that have popped up around St. Louis here lately. And some advertise very local, farm to table. I think some of them are doing it that way, and then others are doing it just as their daily special and not really laying it
Yeah.
out there that this is all that it is.
No, it's a truth in advertising. You need to feel comfortable asking, and not the stupid Portlandia thing where you're wanting to go to the farm and make love to the shaman and find your chicken's name. But, hey, who do you get your chicken from? Who do you get your fish from? Who do you get your beef, your produce? What is fresh? What is local? Keep in mind that might not always get the answer you're hoping for. But you should be aware. If you care enough to want to buy local, you should be able to ask the question of what is local.
I mean, I think that that's one of the things that we try to do as much as we possibly can. For instance, our chicken.
Chicken is local. Right now it's winter. We don't have a lot of produce. We are very fortunate that there's a somewhat newish hydroponic farm that's providing us with some tomato and kales. Again, not all that we can use. There's a practical side of this as well. Beef is one. Okay, the cut and the style of the beef that we use for our operation, well, there's only so many parts to the steer. There's only so many parts to the animal that you can use. So, we require about 8 animals a week. For the specific cut that we use that cut from 8 different animals per week. Well, very few local ranchers are taking 8 steer to slaughter every single week.
So where do we get our beef from?
We do use a broadline company that does reach out to small ranchers that they have in their program. It's a 4-state, so I don't want to say it's sort of a consortium, but a lot of small farmers sell to a larger company. First off, because their product gets moved, they get a steady check. They're not waiting on some poor little small operation to give them a check to clear. They're getting it from a big, and it's money on hand, and they have steady business. They know that this bigger company will supply them with steady income.
And they know that the whole cow is being used.
And for a lot of them, yeah, the whole animal is being used.
So there's
So
little
like
to no
Creekstone
waste.
is who we use. They have a never ever, so no antibiotics. They don't do any of that. The animals are pastured. They're treated humanely. But yeah, it does come from a bigger company. And that's a practical, how can we do what we want to do and still at least do the best we can?
So I think
It's a hit or miss.
I think one of the biggest important things is don't buy into the marketing that you're seeing all over the place. Social media is huge. You see one article and it goes out rampant. It's a lot like, how do you describe it? Social media is different than the news used to be because it doesn't have to prove that it's a true statement. There's nothing there.
There's no accountability whatsoever.
So anything can go out and become viral very, very quickly.
And half of it's bullshit.
It's learning how to ask the questions. So can you give just 3 questions that somebody could ask when looking?
Well, first off, you're going to pay for local. You're flat out. You're going to pay a premium for local. For multiple, it's a matter of math. The less someone produces, the more they have to charge for it.
What's the second point?
Well, quality. Not that there's not lots of good product out there, but generally someone who is really trying to do things in a natural, local way is spending a lot more time on the quality of their product. And then really it's knowing your seasons and knowing where you live and knowing that, like I said, Valentine's Day and strawberries, well, if you're a local person, a locavore, well, guess what? You can't have that chocolate dip strawberry. Knowing that corn, well, here in the Midwest, corn's a summer thing. So why am I eating corn on the cob, in January? Well, guess what? That came from somewhere else. We've gotten used to eating food out of our region, out of our timetable, and that's just how it is.
So I guess it sums it all up. If you're seeing somebody saying that it's local, it's farm to table, it's fresh, all those words mean is paid advertising in a lot of ways. So get to know who it is or where it is that you're buying your food from and educate yourself. Don't just assume because it says it's farm to table, it actually came from the farm, because we don't have a farm in our parking lot.
Trust your cook. And if they can't answer you a question, well, then maybe you need to choose somewhere else.
Remember, you are what you eat. Be a hot pot.
We'd like to thank Creekstone Farms for sponsoring this episode. If you'd like to sponsor an episode, please email us at sketcheatsstl@gmail.com.